Very good morning, dear student. Today I am here with a new module with a new content, and that is the transportation of water and mineral in the plants. Before beginning this new topic, I would like to take you towards the last module in which I told you that the transportation of the blood in the human heart. In that lecture, I explained the double circulatory system, double circulation in human heart, and then the differences between blood and lymph, differences between arteries and veins, different vessels as you know in the body, and the mechanism of the blood clotting, and so many other questions I have taken in that. In the new topic, in the new segment, when I want to begin this, the flow of water and mineral in the plant, it is very important how does this water and mineral rises upward. Is there any involvement of the machinery? Is there anything is pressing the water and minerals upward, or it happens automatically, or what is there behind this movement of water mineral in the long trees? You know, some trees height you can see there are 200 feet height, 300 feet height trees are there, like deodar, etc. So which force, which mechanism is working there for this absorption of water mineral and for this movement of water mineral from the root towards the leaf, towards the upper side? If there are some theories are involved, I will explain. Okay? And what is the key point on which basis this is continuously water and mineral are moving upward without any external force? So when I start any topic, I would like to explain that what are the theories and what basis these water and minerals are moving upward continuously, right? So in this segment, when we are moving the transportation of water mineral, the transportation of food in the plants, you have to see which theory is behind this movement. Until unless you are not going to complete your theory on which basis it is moving, you will not be able to complete your study. So you should always see why it happened, how it happens. In any mechanism, whether it is the mechanism of circulation, the mechanism of the movement of the oxygen and carbon dioxide, many things are there in which there are some theories working behind that. The urine formation mechanism, excretion mechanism, in that, in any segments, in any mechanism, there are certain theories are working, and today I will explain how does this water and mineral is rising upward in the plants. Okay, now moving to the new topic, the transportation of water and mineral. First of all, I would like to tell you in the systematic through the diagrams that how the water, from which point it is going to be begin and at what point it is reaching there. So simply I'm going to draw a schematic diagram in front of you, then I'll go for the TS of root, how the tissues are absorbing the water, how the water is rising upward, and which tissues are involved in this ascent of sap or absorption of water and minerals. So now coming to the this section diagram portion. Simply you can understand lower part root system, and this is leaf shoot system. So I am going to tell you that always, as you have heard one proverb, water the root, enjoy the fruit. Water is always rising from the root hairs, from the root. You should not confuse that water is moving in the plants through the stomatal pore. No, always water rises from the root system, right? You can see here. The movement of water and mineral is unidirectional upward movement, and it moves from lower side to upside. Clear? Now, when we are going to start this, you have to understand how does this takes place. Root. So very first, the internal TS of root you have to understand. Transverse section of root. Now, I am drawing the internal structure. The outer part from where the water is moving, root hair. Epidermis, this structure. So when we are making the inner part of the root, you have to recognize the different types of tissues present here. So this part is cortex part, cortical part, and when we are moving that inside to the cortex, this is called endodermis. So you try to understand external part, epidermis, then cortex region, then this single layer endodermis. Then inner part is there, pericycle and pith, etc. Inner part to this, the pericycle, then pith, xylem and phloems are there. Okay, so you can write xylem and phloem. These two, xylem and phloem, are the conducting tissues here in the plants, which help in the transportation of the water and food. Phloem always helps in the transport of, these are the vessels, these are the tissue which are helping in the transport of food, and xylem is always helping in the transport of water and mineral. So these two tissues are known as vascular tissues or conducting tissues, which helps in the conduction of water mineral in the plants. Now coming to the topic, these two tissues are called vascular tissue, xylem and xylem water. You must remember these. Before moving to the theory of the movement, you should see on which theory it is moving and which tissues are involved, because there would be question that which tissue, name the tissues which are involved in the conduction of water mineral, in the transportation of water mineral and food. So it is very important to understand the vascular tissues, the conducting tissues, and that is phloem and xylem. So today I will take the involvement of the xylem. There are 4 elements in the xylem, and that is xylem tracheids, xylem vessels, xylem fiber and xylem parenchyma. Mainly I will take xylem tracheids and xylem vessels, which are transporting the water minerals. Okay. So when we start this is the very important part. This story begins from the root hairs. As you know, the water surrounds here. And here to the next part, when I am talking about the shoot system leaf, you should understand a little bit general instruction for the leaf. vascular bundles. So when we are going for the inner structure of the leaf, you should also notice in the leaf you will be getting two structure, upper side and lower side, and these are epidermis. Epidermis means skin. Upper skin you can see in the leaf, upper side is smooth, lower side is a little bit rough surface. So these are the skin. Upper epidermis you can easily understand. Upper epidermis. Lower epidermis. This part is known as stomata, which helps in the exchange of O2, CO2, which helps in the transpiration process, loss of water occurring through the stomata. And between these upper and lower epidermis, the mesophils are there. The inner part between upper epidermis and lower epidermis, this entire part is known as mesophils, right? So the TS of leaf, why it is important? Because when I will explain the theory of the movement of the water mineral in the plants, the important part would be root, how this movement takes place, and how these TS of leaf, the inner structure of leaf, helping through the stomata. As you know, the transpiration takes place. That is also going to help. Transpiration will also help in the movement of water mineral. Now, so you can easily draw these two structure, TS of leaf, okay, then TS of root. So moving to these part, you have to remember that the leaf structure and the transverse section, inner structure of the root. That coming to the root here, number one, then epidermis, then cortex. And I indicated here, look at this, these arrow. These are indicating how does water moves from which number, seal number 1, 2, 3, 4, in this way. So now, what are the theories are involved in the movement of water and mineral? In the transportation, there are three valid theory, and the name of these three theories are, number one, root pressure theory. So you can write anywhere. Root pressure theory. Number two, transpiration pull theory. And the third one is very important, cohesive force and adhesive force theory. Cohesive, you can erase a little bit. Why these theories are very important? Because until unless you are not going to understand which theory is working on the basis of which theory this unbreakable column is rising, this unbreakable column is established in the movement of water and mineral, you will not be able to complete this transportation of water. Because here the mechanism of water and mineral, you can write the another heading, the absorption of water and mineral or assent of sap. You can write another heading. Or you can write assent of sap. In other words, it could be asked that what is the assent of sap. So when you are going to start, you must remember these terms also. How this absorption of water minerals takes place through the root. So I am using sap. Sometimes what do you mean by sap? Well, only fresh water is there, that would be known as water. But when the water is mixed with the mineral, that is called sap. So sap means you can write water and mineral. So now clear? Sap means water and mineral. Now, to understand these theories, I am going to focus the number one, root pressure. You have heard two words, one is diffusion and one is osmosis. Osmosis means when water moves from its dilute to its concentrated solution. When the movements of water takes place dilute to concentrated solution, from higher level of water to the lower level of water through the membrane, this is called osmosis. So when we start this theory, root pressure theory, you notice, you will be able to know that what mechanisms are there, what theories are involved. So by the osmotic pressure, the water rises. By the osmosis process, this water will move from soil, water will move from soil to the root hair, and this root hair will absorb the water. So the water will be more in the root hair, and these cortical cells, cortex, will be having less water percentage. So this water will move from higher to the lower. Again, in comparison of this cortex, outer side cortex will be having more water, than inner side having less water. So automatically water will move from higher to the lower, higher to the lower. And this unbreakable column is moving towards the endodermis, the inner part. So on the basis of osmosis, this story begins. And the pressure which exert a pressure, the root hair exert a pressure because of its higher percentage of water. So there is one root pressure theory which tells that the water is moving from higher region, its higher percentage, towards its lower percentage. That is, there is a pressure developed by the root hairs, is called root pressure theory. This is not very tough one. That is why I have started that root pressure. Through the osmosis, water will enter in the... So osmotic pressure, root pressure. Through the osmosis process, root is going to exert a pressure to the water mineral, and it will moving to the outside, from the outside to inside, then again moving to the inner structure. This is, the anatomy of the root. So root hair, epidermis, cortex, and then endodermis, and then moving to the xylem tissues, which is main conductive tissue. Xylem, which is playing vital role in the conduction of, which makes the unbreakable column for this shed, for this water mineral. Now, the transpiration pull theory. There is a theory in which transpiration pull is working. When anything we want to lift up, there is some theories is working from the lower side, which is osmotic pressure, which can be called root pressure. and from upside when anything is going to be pulled up, that would be great help for the absorption of water mineral. So you have noticed what is the transpiration process? In the plants, the loss of water through the stomata of the leaf is called transpiration. Okay, and now you will see, just I am going to when the water is transported through the stomata, the last these cells, when they lose water, they transpirate water, these cells will demand for the water. There will be a demand of the water from the lower cells. So these leaves will demand water from the lower side. So there is by the process of transpiration, this water is going to be uplifted. Through the root pressure, it is working that the root will press the water, it will be reaching towards that. And through the transpiration, an upward pull is also there. So when there is a continuous process taking place, transpiration process taking place, this absorption of water will speed up. This absorption of water and mineral will be speed up by the transpiration pull. There is another theory which is working there, and that theory is generated by the transpiration process, and this pull is moving, taking the water upside. So this movement will be more easier, and that is why you will surprised to know that in plants even the unbreakable column is established in the higher trees. Some other theories which are capillarity theories which are not well valid. These theories were proving the movement of water only up to some certain heights, up to only 5 meter, 10 meter. But these theories, these three theories are working for the movement of water and mineral towards the maximum height. So this transpiration pull, now you got my point that transpiration which is generated by the transpiration process, this transpiration pull is working a lot for the absorption of water and mineral. Now this is very important. After this transpiration pull, the next one is cohesive force and adhesive force. Now let us try to understand the cohesive force and adhesive force. The cohesive force, I will tell you, cohesive, attraction between two same molecules. When water attract water, cohesive force means attraction between two same molecules. Cohesive force. You got my point? Cohesive force and adhesive. Understand separately. And adhesive. Adhesive force, try to clear these two words, then I will explain. Adhesive force. Attraction between two different attraction between water and cell membrane. When I am telling you that there are two different molecules are attracting each other, like water molecules and cell membrane, through these cell membrane it would be moving. So this is called adhesive. And when there is attraction between two same molecules, like there is a tendency water droplet attract water droplet, this is called cohesive force theory. So these two, cohesive force and adhesive force, will definitely work a lot in this mechanism of absorption of water and mineral, in this mechanism absorption of sap in the water, assent of sap. Okay, so when you start your study absorption of water and mineral, I am sure that you will be able to understand the root pressure theory through the osmosis, how the root here takes water. Then because of the difference in the concentration of water, this is going to be moving from one region to another region. Then moving to the transpiration pull theory. This theory tests, which is based on the transpiration process, and through the stomator, when the water is transpirate in the sky, that the cell demands water from the previous one. So there is one pull is working, continuously working to uplift the water. This is called transpiration pull, which is pulling the water upward. And now the third one is cohesive force and adhesive force theory. So under these theories, you can easily prove the absorption of water and mineral, the assent of sap in the plant. In this, you have to draw these two diagrams. I mean, TS of root, TS of leaf. It is introductory knowledge, but you have to remember the name of tissues which are involved in the absorption of water and mineral, and which tissues are involved. Xylem. And in the xylem, you have to remember xylem tracheids, and xylem vessels. These two tissues, conducting tissues, these two tissues are playing vital role in the absorption of water and mineral. What are the tissues? Xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. So for today's this module, it is complete for this topic, and the topic is, absorption of water and mineral in the plants, or assent of sap in the plants. Now moving to the last point, and as you know, at the last I will give you some assignment questions, only 4 questions. So you have to write what is assent of sap. Means absorption of water and mineral is known as assent of sap. Mention the name of tissues which are involved in the, write the name of tissue which helps in the conduction of water and mineral. Write the vascular tissues involved in the absorption. Write the name of vascular, rather I should write. Write the name of, you have to mention name, xylem tracheids and xylem vessels. Name of vascular tissues involved in the absorption of water and mineral. Okay, now we have to write what is cohesive force and adhesive force theory. What is cohesive force and okay, and you can draw the TS of transverse section of root. Okay, so these are few questions for your complete study, and I'm sure that there would not be any doubt in your mind, and if you are having any doubt when the classes will be on, I'll again help you in this absorption of water and mineral. So for the recapitulation, what you have to understand, the different theories are which are involved in the absorption of water and mineral. Okay, you have to prove how does this water movement takes place in the plants, which tissues are involved and which theories are involved in this mechanism. Okay, so you have to also draw these two structure, transverse section of leaf and transverse section of root, and these questions you will be writing. Okay, so for this module, now it is sufficient for this module. I would be coming in front of you with a new module with a new topic. Thank you.